How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Alright, so the other day I was driving and I had a bit of a drive ahead of me and I was thinking, what was the greatest trade ever made? Like, ever? Who made the most money on one single trade? I thought of two people right off the bat. I thought of George Soros and how he shorted the British pound back in 1992 and made $1 billion in one day. Holy crap. Pretty damn awesome. That trade literally put him on the map and he became pretty much a worldwide name at that point, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't around to see it, so I can't recall. But the other person I thought of was, if you watch the movie The Big Short or read the book, good book, great read actually. I prefer the movie, I'm just more of a movie guy. But Christian Bale played a man named Michael Burry in that movie. And Michael Burry owned and operated a hedge fund called Scion Capital. And pretty much what he did was he saw that the subprime mortgage rates were crap. Absolute crap. So he shorted them. People laughed at him, called him an idiot, all this stuff. People who wanted to pull money out of his fund. However, he ended up making a few $100 million for himself and returned something ridiculous like 489% for his firm that year. Jesus Christ. That's not even close to the best trade ever. Michael Burry, as smart as he is, doesn't hold it. If he had more money, he might have been able to beat it. But this title goes to a man named John Paulson. A man I never even heard of until the other day when I searched this up. So, there's actually a book called The Greatest Trade Ever. I should probably get this book. I'll be honest, I haven't read it. I just found this out a few days ago. If you guys did read it, it did come out about 9 years ago. I believe it was 2010. So maybe if you have read it, this is old news to you. But this was pretty shocking to me, and maybe I'm enlightening some people on this. So what's the story with this? Well, he kind of did what Michael Burry did. Pretty much. So let me read you this article. This article is a little old. It's from 2010, but it's pretty interesting and a good read. So the article is from The Guardian. It's called The Greatest Trade Ever, How John Paulson Bet Against the Markets and Made $20 Billion by Gregory Zuckerman. The story of one man's refusal to believe in the health of the housing boom tells us a great deal about the financial crisis, but is not a griping general read, says Heather Stewart. The mania that gripped investors in the wild bubble years of the 2000s is wildly portrayed as a universal affliction. But, in fact, a few stubborn souls refuse to succumb. This book tells the story of one refusenik hedge fund manager, John Paulson, who was not only skeptical about the health of the overinflated US housing market, but bet against it and won. The scale of Paulson's big bet, the greatest trade ever, as Greg Zuckerman describes it, was extraordinary. By piling into complex credit default swaps against mortgages, in effect assurance policies that would pay out if homeowners defaulted, his fund made an unthinkable $15 billion, or about 9.8 billion euros, in a year, 4 billion of which he took home himself. On a single morning in 2007, when gung-ho subprime leader New Century announced it was in trouble, Paulson's fund clocked up gains of $1.25 billion, more than his idol George Soros made in his notorious gamble against sterling in 1992 when Britain was forced out of the European exchange rate mechanism. Zuckerman also tells the story of others who placed similar, much smaller trades, such as West Coast property developer Jeffrey Green, a friend of Paulson's before they fell out over his refusal to invest in his hedge fund. All these pessimistic investors were mavericks or outsiders, underlying how tough it was in those heady days to stand alone against the herd of charging bulls. Zuckerman, a writer for the Wall Street Journal, is excellent at explaining the financial engineering that left bank bosses with only the vaguest understanding of their own balance sheets, and the trail that leads from bafflingly complex securities such as collateralized debt obligations to cash-strapped homeowners across the US. He is less successful, though, in turning his tale into a compelling human story. Whenever he sketches in biographical details, they tend either to be clunky and implausible, or to remind us how dull financiers are. One of Paulson's few distinguishing characteristics is apparently that, notwithstanding his immense wealth, he still travels by train. When, after leading a playboy lifestyle well into his 40s, he decided to settle down, he wrote a list of the characteristics a suitable wife would need. At the top was cheerful. He quickly realized there was a woman he was attracted to who fit the bill. and was sitting nearby, his assistant Jenny. Isn't that how all relationships work out for rich people? Greg Lippmann, a Dutch bank trader and one of the few insiders at a Wall Street investment bank to bet against the subprime market, was so over the top and had so many inflections, such as pronouncing the word tranche with a soft chi. Okay, I think I just did that too. As if to remind colleagues that it was the French word for slice. That his colleagues grew to enjoy his company. Crazy. Some of the best books about Wall Street, Michael Lewis's Liar's Poker and Roger Lowenstein's When Geniuses Failed, for example, are packed with larger-than-life characters whom we end up either rooting for or loathing. Admittedly, Zuckerman's subjects offer him scant material, but the less than thrilling personal tales he recounts make this book better as a telling exposition of one aspect of the financial crisis than a gripping general read. Okay, well, obviously she's not the biggest fan of him from that article. Well, that's okay. Not everyone loves everyone. That's fine, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So, about that trade, he pretty much did exactly what Michael Burry did, it sounds like. And from what I looked into, it's pretty legit that he literally did what Michael Burry did, just to a much bigger scale. Alright, he made money the same way he did, so if you watch that movie, in the movie, Michael Burry finds out about these subprime mortgage rates and how they are crap and that people are probably going to default on them very soon. And that the banks are basically selling garbage rates that people don't know what they're buying into. So the banks are taking advantage of people. He notices this and he kind of decides to take advantage of the banks, which in turn crashes the economy. Not necessarily that, but it doesn't help, right? As the economy is crashing and many people are losing their jobs and houses, he's making a lot of money, and he did feel bad about this and defunct his investment firm, Michael Burry, that is. This guy, John Paulson, did not do that. He still owns his firm called Paulson & Co., which manages other firms under it. It's kind of like a Berkshire Hathaway, but more for investment firms. Pretty much like that. So that's what he does now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty interesting. It's a crazy trade. $20 billion. That's a lot of money. That much money would put you on the top Forbes list, all right, of richest people. That's no joke. So that's pretty much it for this. Just in case you were wondering what the greatest trade ever was, it was by a man named John Paulson, who basically did exactly what Michael Burry did in The Big Short, and bet against the subprime mortgage rates and made a killing on it in turn. But pretty much it. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, remember to always smash that thumbs up button. And if you smash the thumbs up button, you may as well hit that giant red button saying subscribe to help my number go up by 1. Everyone counts at this point and forever. Alright? Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see you later and have an absolutely fantastic, amazing, beautiful, one-of-a-kind, life-changing day. And I'll see you next time.